Good morning, Neo-Swedenborgians. Okay, here's the map I mentioned. 35,580 miles from Earth's surface, printed in this 1916 book that's falling apart. And here you have 3,640 miles from the Earth's surface. Here you have what he calls the first heaven, which is the first, second, and third sphere. And then you have the second heaven, which is the other sphere. And here you have the inner radiation belt and the outer radiation belt, discovered in the 50s, written about in the teens. I also want to point out, where is it? Here it is. From 300 miles, according to him, to 35,580 miles. And in here, from 400 miles to 36,040 miles, but it actually says in here that it fluctuates in size. Okay, and there's two bands. There's the inner band and the outer band. The inner radiation belt and the outer radiation belt, which he calls the first heaven and the second heaven. The first heaven being the first sphere of the astral world, the second sphere of the astral world, and the third sphere. And one more very curious thing is if you look on this, it says that there are radiation belts like this around all the planets. There's a picture of the radiation belts around Jupiter. And here in the same book published in 1916, we have, in the solar system illustration, only the nearest planets to our sun are shown, but around every planet of our solar system, and probably every system, exist 7 spirit spheres where the inhabitants of these planets dwell after death. There's another illustration of the inner and outer bands. This, speaking Neo-Swedenborgianistically, is a picture of heaven.